Every day. This leads to a cumulative effect and does not make you a bright workaholic, saves you time and your nerves, so we understand what discipline is and why it is so important. Different business books successful. YouTube bloggers love to hang out noodles on the ears. They often affect problems of discipline. They tell how every minute of their life is painted on paper. It is because of this that people develop misunderstandings, disciplines. But people must understand that discipline the most important what is intelligence? Intelligence is, in other words, when we sensibly evaluate their opportunities, and their time is when we wisely allocate time for our work. For your vacation day, in and day out work's impossible. But we are using discipline can waste a little time daily and accumulate beneficial effect is important to understand, and what discipline is good for its physiology. It is built on habits and not on emotions. That's why motivated a person quickly quits what he started. If you don't want to quit what you started, you have to endure 1 month habit during this time. Firmly will form in your brain. So before you have a specific goal, for achievement of this goal is undoubtedly necessary discipline. You arm yourself with a pen, some kind of notebook, calendar, phone. With internet, because you may need to find something in internet to do the most detailed plan of future actions. You look at the calendar and intelligently calculate estimated lead time. This task, let's say you gain 5 kg of lean muscle mass naturally, then this can get away from 4 months to 6 months. In this case, let's talk only about clean, dry muscles. Now you should roughly describe what you have to be reasonable. In a month, then in a week, then in 1 day. You should clearly and reasonably define all their little steps, which with the help cumulative effect will lead to achievement of the goal. Keep in mind that always you have to start small. Because of such mistakes, you quickly quit what you started after reasonable planning. The only thing left to do day by day. The same after a month of such practice, you will develop a strong habit, but often happens when something did not go according to plan. For example, something happened that you did not foresee. Because of this plan violated you again. Abandon what you started, and there are 2 options. Either you allocate spare days or reserve time to complete these tasks. Unfulfilled task daily is best way not to quit. Keep order and reasonableness. Moreover, we use the Benjamin method. Benjamin Franklin is personality too. Can be said progressive for its time. Yes, this is the person who looks at us in $100 bills. Great American figure of the 18th century. I highly recommend reading it. Autobiography to realize the path of success. An ordinary person who in childhood left his home to study and make money. Expand your connections, not only to yourself but also society. Franklin came up with a plan. Achieving moral perfection, identified 13 important qualities that he had to learn, and which he was to unquestioningly follow. This abstinence, eat under pressure, drink not before intoxication. The second, silence, speaks only what can benefit me, otherwise avoid empty talk. Order, to keep all your things in place. Each class has its own time and determination to do what must do. Scrupulously comply what decided brings good me or others. That is, nothing assigned. Diligence, no time to waste in vain, to always be busy with something useful, to discard all unnecessary actions. Sincerity, do not cause harmful deceit, to have clean and fair thoughts in conversation. Also stick to this rule. Justice, don't hurt anyone, do no injustice, and omit the good deeds that are included in the number of your duties. Is moderation, avoid extremes, restrain as much do you think it is appropriate to feel, not to allow bodily impurities in clothes and dwelling. Peace is not worry about trifles and about ordinary or unavoidable cases. Chastity, indulge in love texts infrequently, only health or work offspring. Never make it up. Stupefaction, exhaustion, and to the detriment of one's own or someone else's reputation. Humility, to everyone quality. Benjamin decided to form persistent habit, and he did it alternately, moving from one quality to another. He started a book vertically on the table qualities, horizontal days of the week. He noted those days when he did not observe virtue. Week is the period that he singled out for each virtue to go to another one to previous. There were no points if he violated the principle of some quality. Is quality had to train first with first day of the week until points throughout week. There will be no points. Franklin had a lot of pass the whole table in 1 year. His method shows how form desired habits. This method guaranteed to help you in any endeavors and make you much planning this way. My dear friend, discipline is your best assistant in achieving results, and that's all. And thank you for your attention. Once he was in our team. John is a goal-oriented person, required strong-willed. You know very little about it. I have met many people in my life with big dreams and goals. And yes, they did something to achieve. They started trying to take something new. But years later, I met the same people. They stayed the same old way of life, old way of thinking, former laziness and inefficiency. They started, but they didn't have a systematic to achieve their results. There was no reasonable plan. And in the end, they lacked discipline. Discipline is something that can change human life. Unrecognizable discipline. This system, reasonable approach to solving any problem. Think that discipline means super hard work, or as they say, super successful success. Know this, I do. Not want to promote discipline, and first of all means intelligence, managing your time. And a disciplined person, it is not necessarily the one who is 24/7 and forever busy, is the one who is their further recurring actions that lead to, as a result in the long term, to achieve a certain result. Otherwise, it can be called a cumulative effect. When we do something day by day, effect accumulates. Let's a manhood a giant in a man to learn a foreign language. A disciplined person who motivated to learn something new language will spend its entire first day on learning a language, is allowed in 1 day learn 200 English words for the next day. His wish to continue his studies disappears abruptly. I think many here recognize yourself. Motivation, she always momentary. Discipline is eternal, for the first is built on emotions, and the second on habits of a disciplined person act differently. He will break these 200, let's say for 5 days. It turns out more that he will set aside time to study English grammar. Discipline does not mean great work in this case. Man just needs day by day spend some time in English language. So over the course of a certain time, he will learn a lot of English words, learn grammar, learn conversation, English, and so on again. Discipline means intelligence. We can spend all day on the following days. Do nothing. Efficiency, like that case, will be zero. However, it is more reasonable. We'll do a little bit.